Morning all. So this is day 11 of Shepherd's Hut build, and I'm at the point where I have all the parts for a rolling chassis. And so this seems a good point to show you a little bit about how it all goes together, and maybe some of the things that are worth considering if you're looking to build one. I could have made you a very long video of all the cutting and welding and drilling holes that's gone on in the previous 10 days, but honestly, if you're not up to the cutting and welding, get someone else to do this because it's quite a big build. But assuming you are, this is how it's going to work. So I've got this sort of double beam in the wood there, which is going to be the steering axle. So that the top one will be fixed onto the body, and the bottom one will rotate with the wheels on it. I've got this enormous pin which holds the steering together, and it's threaded on the end there so I can put a bolt through it. It'll go through the top plate, which sits on the top there. It'll go through this big disc, which is a pair of discs, and they will rub together. So that's my rubbing surface for the steering, and you can see that the pin goes right through the middle of those two. There's the pin, and then on the bottom I've got this little trailing hanger which will support some braces and a big washer to put the end on. Then we've got a whole set of these little sort of U-plates, just to stop the nuts pulling into the wood. And you can see the hole there, where each pin, these longer pins, will hold these long beams onto the top of the frame. And then lower down we've got this one on the bottom end, which is going to do the same job in terms of holding the axle on, but also has a pin here with an R-clip in order to fit the towing bar. So that's all that set ready to put together. And then on the back axle it's much simpler. Again, I've got a little plate here for the bracing, and some big pins that will hold the axle rod onto the bottom of it. So let's see if we can start getting this thing built. So that's the first part of the rear axle built. You can see the axle stubs there just hang proud of the timber. I've got 4 nice pins there to put the long pieces on, and down on the inside there I've got these little plates that hold the braces that'll go up to the body. So there we are, part 1 done. This cutout needs to be placed in inboard chassis, and this edge lies outboard, so we're this way around. this one, right, so that's the two steering plates on, and that's where they're going to mate together. You can see if you do this, you need to make sure the alignment's all missed so that we don't get in trouble with those. And we'll drop the pin right down the middle. I'm going to go get some grease and grease all that up before we do it. That's all nice and greasy. So we can get this aligned. With a bit of luck. Don't forget the top plate. Right, that's going to need a little bit of persuading. Oh, I think I might need a new hammer. Right, there we go. So that's the steerable pad. It'll actually be, of course, the bottom that moves rather than the top, but quite happy with that. So that's that now chalked up the right height for the wheels. These are the road going wheels. It'll have pretty wheels when it goes in the field. And you can see there that the swivel plates are now doing their job nicely. The pin, you can see, is a little bit proud. That'll sit down once I take the weight off the bottom of it. And I've got this little tab here that is my brace that comes back onto the chassis. And now I need to stand up that end and see if we can't get those beams on. See if we can get those beams on. This is going to be fun. Actually, that wasn't too bad. It's not all right. So we can go that way. This might be interesting. Right, well there we are, sitting on its wheels. I've still got to go around and you can see the plate now. Those two big anchor points are for towing off, one on each side. I still need to put some screws down there, still need to tighten everything up, but that's the, you can see now also the front end here is cut in by a couple of centimetres, which is the thickness of those rotating plates, so that when we come to the back end it just sits on an extra block and comes to level. But there it is, one steerable chassis. Need to square it and need to tighten everything up, and that's cool. Yeah, pretty happy with that.